Hi everyone, it's great to see you all here. Welcome to Lesson 8 of our Essential Idioms series. We're so excited to have you join us today. Today we're going to explore some fun and easy idioms that will make your English sound more natural and fluent. Idioms are like puzzles, and solving them can be a lot of fun. They are groups of words that have a special meaning, often very different from the literal meanings of the individual words. This meaning is different from the individual words. It can be confusing at first, but once you get the hang of it, it becomes much easier. For example, kick the bucket doesn't actually mean kicking a bucket. It means to die. This is a great example of how idioms can be surprising and interesting. Learning idioms is a great way to understand English better. It helps you grasp the nuances and subtleties of the language. It's also a fun way to learn about English culture. Idioms often reflect the history, traditions, and values of a culture. Let's dive into some common idioms and see how we can use them in everyday conversations. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to use these idioms confidently and impress your friends with your knowledge. Our first idiom is to be about to. This is a very common phrase that you will hear in everyday conversations. This means you will do something very soon. It's used to indicate that an action is imminent, just moments away from happening. For example, I am about to eat lunch means you are going to eat very soon. You might say this when you're just waiting for the food to be served, or when you're about to take your first bite. Another example is, the movie is about to start. This means the previews are over, and the main feature is just seconds away from beginning. Next, we have to turn around. This idiom has multiple meanings and can be used in different contexts. This can mean to physically turn your body. For instance, if someone calls your name, you might turn around to see who it is. For example, I turned around to see who was calling my name. This is a literal use of the idiom. It can also mean to change something to make it successful. This is often used in a business context. For example, the company turned around its business by listening to its customers. This means the company made changes that led to its success. These idioms are very useful in everyday conversations. They help you express actions and changes clearly and effectively. Remember to practice using them. The more you use these idioms, the more natural they will become in your speech. So don't hesitate to incorporate them into your daily conversations. Let's learn about to take turns now. This idiom means to do something one after another. Imagine you are playing a game with a friend. You each take turns making a move. We took turns swinging on the swings at the park is another example. To pay attention to is another important idiom. It means to focus on something carefully. For example, please pay attention to the instructions. You can also pay attention to the teacher or pay attention to the road signs. These idioms are helpful for describing common situations. Keep practicing using them in your daily life. To brush up on means to practice something you learned in the past. This idiom is often used when you need to refresh your memory or skills in a particular area. For example, I need to brush up on my Spanish before my trip to Mexico. It's been a while since I last spoke the language, so a little practice will help me communicate better when I get there. You could also brush up on your piano skills if you haven't played in a long time, or brush up on your knowledge of history before an important exam or discussion. This idiom is versatile and can be applied to many different skills and subjects. Now let's talk about the idiom to wear out. This phrase is quite interesting because it has two distinct meanings. The first meaning of to wear out is to make something unusable by using it too much. This can apply to objects that deteriorate over time with frequent use. For instance, you might say, I wore out my favorite toy because I played with it every day. Over time, the toy became too damaged to use. Another example is, I wore out my shoes from running every day. The constant use caused the shoes to become worn and less effective. The second meaning of to wear out is to make someone tired or exhausted. This is often used in the context of physical or mental fatigue. For example, the kids wore me out after playing all day. Here, the constant activity and energy of the children left the person feeling very tired. These idioms are great for talking about a variety of topics, from daily activities to specific skills and objects. They add color and specificity to your language, making your conversations more engaging. Try using them in your next conversation. Whether you're brushing up on a skill or feeling worn out from a busy day, these idioms will help you express yourself more clearly and vividly.